Now stay tuned for the 19-inch variety show with John Barber and Bryant Gumbel.
From the NBC studios in Burbank, it's the 19-inch variety show starring John Barber with Bryant Gumbel. Ladies and gentlemen, the only film critic in America who has to pay for his own tickets, John Barber.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and welcome to the 19-inch variety show. We call it that because 19 inches is the standard size of the average television screen. My wife and I were watching The Godfather again tonight on television. My wife says she'd never miss an El Martino movie. But I had asked my wife what would she do if she woke up the next morning and found a horse's head lying next to her. And she said it would be a pleasant relief from waking up finding the other end next to her. I didn't know that my wife had ever been with Howard Cosell. But Paramount Pictures, who made The Godfather, barred me this year for an early review I'd done of their Great Gatsby. I said, now I know why they're thinking of charging $6, $3 to get in and $3 to get out. And Universal Studios barred me for an early review I did of Jesus Christ Superstar. I referred to it as Fiddler on the Mount. And about 3 months later, as punishment, they let me back in to show me Hugh Hefner's The Naked Ape. That was a movie that packed them into the theaters when they showed it in the streets. But the biggest trouble I ever got in over a review was right here at NBC over a review I did of Jerry Lewis. He had raised $12 million on his telethon, and the next day I said perhaps they could have raised $25 million if every person who never wanted to see him again sent in a quarter. So the next day I was walking down a hall here at NBC, and one of the women who was on one of those tours accosted me. She came over to me and she says, "John Barber, could you do what Jerry Lewis does?" And I went, "Rah!" So she gave me a quarter. But I didn't start out as a critic. Most critics I know wanted to be actors, except for Rex Reed, who wanted to be Myra Breckinridge. But I came from a broken home, and as such, you know, I guess you want to grow up and have attention, and since I was alone all the time, I used to go to the little theater around the corner, and I used to go and sit in the front seat, and I would stare up at those huge faces up there on the screen, and the theater would be filled with the sounds of love coming from the couple sitting behind me. And when I grew up, I wanted to be that huge face up there in the screen so I could get a better look at the couple sitting behind me. But I lived thousands of miles away from Hollywood, and I knew I'd never get to be an actor, so right then and there I decided to become a critic. So I turned around and told the couple what they were doing wrong. "Fellas," I said, thank you. But even though I am hosting this evening's show, as a critic, I can still be very objective. And I love it. And, and I think you're going to love it, too, because we have a very interesting and very entertaining show lined up for you. We have Bert Reynolds, and I can't think of anybody in this business today who is more interesting or more entertaining than Bert. You're also going to meet a young lady who starred in Bert's most recent film, and not only is she a very competent young actress, she happens to be one of America's brightest young country singing stars. Her name is Connie Van Dyke. You're also going to get to meet one of the world's top male porno stars, a young man I'm sure some of you have already seen. His name is Rick Cassidy. Now, you might recall a couple of months ago there was a young Vietnam veteran by the name of John Gabron who held 3 people hostage up in Griffith Park. Well, John is now a psychiatric outpatient at the VA hospital, and the other day we took him back to that very same hill and taped an interview with John. It's very compelling and very disturbing, and I think one you'll find very enlightening and very interesting. And aside from a few other surprises, you're going to meet the featherweight champion of the world, who happens to be LA's own Bobby Chacon. And we'll be right back right after this message. Although he's the youngest sports reporter in Los Angeles, he's quickly become one of the most recognizable and one of the most respected, and I'm really thrilled that he's going to be working here with me. Ladies and gentlemen, not only am I thrilled about that, because he's probably one of the prettiest in the building, Bryant Gumbel. Brian, because you are so young as a sports reporter, do you have any difficulty when you have to go out in the field? When you first got here and you had to confront the athletes or other sports reporters in this town had been established for a while?
Well, I think other sports reporters are a little envious at first off, but as far as the athletes are concerned, I think it's a help, actually, because they tend to identify a little easier with you because you're young and because you kind of look like them, you think like them in certain ways.
Why would some of the sports reporters be kind of envious?
I think it's a natural thing. You know, they pay their dues and they wait a while, and everybody would like to think that they can make television on a big station like NBC's affiliate out here, KNBC. And I made it when I was 23, and a couple of people, I'm sure, took that the wrong way.
Did that make you feel self-conscious at all when you were around them? Did it make you back off when you were trying to go after
No, I don't think
a story?
it made me back off. In fact, I think instead it made me persevere to prove to them that, hey, age had nothing to do with it, you know, that you can still turn it on.
You said that some of the athletes look like you. You did a really nice piece on the news a little while back about it was styles and appearances of athletes.
Yeah, we did a tonsorial matchup of the Oakland A's and the Los Angeles Dodgers, talked about their mustaches, their beards, their sideburns, the length of their hair. Came out pretty good.
Well, when you started talking to them about that, I mean, what was their reaction when they looked at you?
Their reaction was better than mine to your last comment when they looked at me.
No, I mean, you don't exactly go to Bob Haldeman's barber.
No, that's true. That's true. Crew cuts and I are a long way off. But, you know, this is the culmination of a lot of styles that I've tried. You know, this isn't just a happenstance thing. We've got something to show you here. Teddy, can we look at the first one? Okay, now this one... yeah. Big all. This one is circled in 1950, 1951.
Is that a natural?
At that time, yes. You note that I do have ears, as does the donkey. Mine are brown, theirs are yellow.
Because I know, working with Jess, I've heard him a couple of times make comments about the fact that the viewers write in and they want to know, does Brian save a lot of money on Q-tips?
Well, they ask, do I have ears, do I have a backs to my collar, you know, a lot of other things like that. Real cute stuff.
Do you save money on Q-tips?
No, not really. Not really. Let me show you another one. This one gets better as they go along.
That looks like early Hugh Williams.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, you know, when you're playing athletics all throughout your high school life, you either have a crew cut or you wear your hair short. In my case, I had no choice.
How old were you then?
That's senior in high school. That's 1966.
How old were you at that time?
Oh, 17, I think. Things have changed. I'll show you how they've changed. This is called...
Like Chico and the Mob.
This is called the unemployment special. This was between jobs.
I wonder why.
And living on 8th Avenue in New York, no less.
I mean, how long did you have that?
I had that one for as long as I was unemployed, about 6 months.
And
you know why I was unemployed. Once I got a chance after, I got a job.
Would you buy a used machete from that guy?
Look, when you're living on 8th Avenue, that comes in handy. I tell you, you fit right in with the crowd, nobody bothers you. I will show you another one. This one's a lot different. This was a little thing we tried one evening where absolutely nothing in the hair but water, and we just curled it and took it apart, and that's what it wound up with. Made me pretty sweet looking, scared to walk down the strip.
Was that the starting of what you're doing now?
No, not really. Not really. This was what I have now. We just changed it around a little bit. But I don't think the news department put up with that one.
How does your wife feel about the way your hair looks?
She likes it in the front and on top. She can't stand the back.
Why? Kind
of drifts down the back, ducktails up. She doesn't care for it. It's unusual. But you know, I'll tell you something. The bad as my hair is, I'm still on 5 days a week. How many times are you on? Per week?
I'm on 3, Brian.
3?
Yeah.
Weekdays or weekends? That includes
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday,
Okay.
the big days.
I've got a suggestion for you. You see how you look right there, and that doesn't seem to be working because you're only working 3 days a week, right? I'll tell you how to get on the Tuesdays and Thursdays. Teddy, can you help me out?
I look at that and I have this craving for Gail Christian.
You look better.
No, would you think of changing your hair?
No, I don't think I would, John.
Well-
I enjoy it. It makes me feel comfortable. I like it.